Hello, welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Fidelia Aguncha. The European Union has reacted to the news of a suicide bomb attack in Nigeria's northeast state of Adamawa. The Union in a statement condoled with victims of the attack, which claimed the lives of about 50 people. The EU also restated its commitment to assisting Nigeria in its fight against Boko Haram terrorists. In its statement, the body said it is determined to promote and support cooperation among the neighboring countries and communities to eradicate terrorism in all of its forms. As part of efforts to boost the morale of troops in the Northeast, Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Gabriel Olunishakin, has begun an operational visit to the region. According to the theater commander of the Northeast Operation, Major General Ibrahim Atahiru, the visit is part of a routine exercise to the theater of operation. Atahiru explained that the CDS would be briefed on activities of troops and the campaign against Boko Haram insurgents in the Northeast. Still on the fight against terrorism, the Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris has ordered the deployment of more forces to the Northeast region. The police, in a statement signed by spokesperson Jimo Mashood, ordered all commissioners in the Northeast to make additional posting of joint police team to patrol mosques and churches, as well as other vulnerable locations on 24-hour basis. He also ordered the commissioner in Zamfara to regard the security in the state to curb farmers-herdsmen clashes. President Muhammadu Buhari has inaugurated a committee to audit assets recovered by the various ministries, departments and agencies of government. The three-man committee is expected to submit its report in a month. Its members, who include Olufemi Lijadu, Chinyere Bibioha and Mohammed Nami, were inaugurated at the presidential villa in Abuja. The committee will audit all accounts in which the recovered assets were lodged to ensure reports submitted to the president are accurate. They are to audit all remittances into the account up to April 2017. Acting Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Magu, has insisted the anti-corruption body will proceed with the prosecution of the former Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ayodele Oke, and the past DG of the DSS, Ita Ekong. The EFCC boss was reacting to a standoff between members of his agency and the other two agencies, preventing the arrest of their former bosses. In his reaction, Magu insisted the EFCC will not be discouraged, but warned that no Nigerian is above the law. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Senate has set up a committee to investigate the clash between the three agencies. The lawmakers reached the resolution following a point of order by Senator Dino Melaye, who described the standoff as a calamity and recipe for national disaster. The Senate committee is to submit its report in 2 weeks. A Lagos State High Court judge has withdrawn from the trial of a judge of the Federal High Court, Justice Hailazera Nganjiwa, following the allegations of bias. Trial Judge Justice Adedayo Akintoye held that in the interest of justice, she has transferred the case file back to the administrative judge of Lagos so it could be reassigned to another judge. Nganjiwa is standing trial on a 14-count charge bordering on unlawful enrichment and making false information to an officer of the EFCC. Willie Obiano has received a certificate of return for his victory in Saturday's Anambra governorship election. The governor floored his rivals, polling 234,071 votes, followed by Tony Nwoye of the All Progressive Congress with 98,752 votes. He also won all the 21 local government areas in the state. Following his victory in the polls, he has now been presented with a certificate of return for his re-election. The certificate was presented by the State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Nwachukwu Oji, at the Independent National Electoral Commission's headquarters in Awka, the Anambra State capital. The Anambra State governorship election may have come and gone, but definitely not without its fair share of irregularities. This is according to Transition Monitoring Group, TMG, an independent civil society election observation organization in Nigeria. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja, the nation's capital, the chairperson of the group, Abiola Akiyode Afolabi, says the observed widespread infractions are worrisome and portend danger to the growth of democracy in the country.
At a point, our observers noticed that they were talking about Richard card, and it was obvious to everyone that Richard card in that parlance actually meant, money. The security agents were there, and other people, stakeholders were also there, and they chose to look away, deliberately, because probably it does not really matter to them. And you see, the problem is that if we look at historically, if we are not very careful as a country, from a kitty, it became named as stomach infrastructure. And gradually, the way it is going, it's becoming a normal thing, to the extent that when people see it, it's just like what you should expect from our electoral system. But however, it's something that can easily puncture the democratic essence of even having to vote in the real sense. In Edo, it was so obvious. It was being done in open space, and up to today, we didn't find anybody being punished for it. So as long as impunity thrives, when a thing like this happens, there is no way we can be able to stop it.
I think INEC cannot really say shy away, because the Electoral Act, gave it some power to, prosecute electoral offenders. The same for the Nigerian security agencies, especially the police. A crime is a crime. That is always what has been our argument. You don't say that because you have not seen where it is written in black and white, and you know that this is a crime, and there are very extant Nigerian laws that can deal with those criminal activities even outside the Electoral Act. So I think we need our law enforcement officers and INEC to deal more on these issues and not begin to feel that they are handicapped. They are not.
The Nigerian Army has ordered all of its personnel to learn the three major indigenous languages, which are Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa. A statement signed by Army spokesperson Brigadier General Sani Usman said the officials have a deadline of December 2018 to obey the order. According to Usman, the directive is to foster relationship among all members of the Nigerian Army. He noted any soldier with the ability to speak all three languages would be rewarded with a certificate. He also added the skill will be an added advantage to prospective Army officials. Lagos State is set to be the technology frontier in Africa with the launch of Code Lagos. The initiative, which is in its second phase, focuses on the use of computer technology as a driving force for development. The program seeks to train no fewer than 1 million residents of the city by 2019. It is open to all persons in the state, starting from primary school kids, including those out of school, to all grown adults. With the ever-growing demand for technical skills the world over, the Lagos State Ministry of Education has begun the second phase of Code Lagos, a computer programming initiative for residents in the state. The initiative, which is the first of its kind in the country, seeks to grow and improve the tech ecosystem in Lagos State and Nigeria at large.
Code Lagos is our response to ensuring that Lagos is ready for its future, which is going to be technology driven. We know that for a city of 24 million people and counting, the city must become a smart city. So we must bring technology into our everyday life. The way we run our transport system, our schools, our hospitals, security. So for us, what we've tried to do, a clear mandate we're given by the governor, is to ensure that Lagosians can be part of that new economy. So that's why we started Code Lagos.
Available on various platforms, Code Lagos has been infused into the study curriculum of over 200 learning institutions in the state. The government looks to increase this number to about 1,000 by the start of 2018.
We want to train 1 million residents on how to code. That's what we're trying to do. And we're doing that using different platforms. So we started by setting up coding centers in our schools, both our primary schools and our secondary schools. As I speak to you today, we have over 200 schools in Lagos State that are teaching coding classes in our schools to our students. So that's very exciting for us. Our plan is that by January 2018, we will scale up to over 1,000 schools. both in our government schools and also in our private schools. Another major outlet for Code Lagos is our out-of-school system, which we just started. So I'm sure you've visited some of the centers. So our plan is to make coding curriculum available to Lagosians that are outside our school setting. So if you're outside school and you want to learn to code, so we've started our pilots and we're running in 4 centers. So we have different classes. We're teaching them Java skills, fundamentals of Java, fundamentals of Python, and also how to create a website, and all that. So that's what we're doing within the out-of-school setting.
It doesn't just end there. Out-of-school Lagosians can also access this program, which is available online and in various training centers in the state. This is one of such training centers for out-of-school Lagosians. Each participant, equipped with a computer system, will be taught the rudiments of programming by top-notch coders for 5 weeks.
Right now, we are taking them through the basis of coding. We're taking them through Java, Python, and building of web design. And it's actually very good because it's the foundation of coding as a whole. For Java, when you know your basics, you can use it to, in collaboration with Android, you can use it to actually build apps and iOS and desktop application. For Python, you can use a lot for Python. Like I used to tell my students, if you can think it, you can code it. You can build websites with it, you can use it for security, you can use it for artificial intelligence. What the world is doing right now and where technology is advancing to is this program and these platforms, and what we are taking them right now, that's going to give them a startup for the race ahead.
Yewande here, who is a teacher, is one of many participants who are hoping not just to learn coding, but also extend the knowledge to their field of expertise.
My expectation at the end of the program is to be able to start my own blogging, to create a blogger where I can be able to create a teaching platform where children can go there and learn things on their own without any of the teachers around, phonetics and mathematics and everything, that if their parents couldn't or their lesson teachers are not around to help them, they'll be able to go to the site and get to see what they want to do on it, and I think hopefully that will be able to help them.
My expectations from Code Lagos is to be able to continue from here. I see this place as a platform, as a foundation for my coding, basically. So after this program, I feel like I can be able to improve and get more involved in stuffs, and if possible, make money.
Indeed, the benefit of this program cannot be overemphasized, as Code Lagos will not only boost Nigeria's tech ecosystem, but will go a step further to generate employment and business opportunities. Fidelia Aguncha, TV360, Lagos, Nigeria.
Corruption not in my country.
How work?
Oh, correct, Oga.
What is it that you are doing?
Oga, they come on the part now. Make we go sell for.
Oga, na correct kuza be this o. Oga Titus and him boys them. They do am. They will come out the original parts, sell them, make plenty kusa. No wonder our customers you bring the generator back to our workshop because they bad. And not because of stuff. Now because they overuse the generator. Plus say NEPA no they give them electricity. Before I open my eye, Makachuku look at my talk in the heaven. Replace this original generator parts back inside this generator of my customer. In short, before una do am, front jump. 1, 4 jump. 1, 2, 1. Stealing of generator parts or changing of original parts to a fake one. That is the corruption. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. It's time for Business Stories with Ngozi Okoye.
Thank you, Fidelia. The Minister for Aviation, Senator Hadi Sirika, says the proposed national carrier will be private sector driven. Sirika, who was speaking on the sideline of the ongoing International Civil Aviation Organization World Aviation Forum, said stakeholders had agreed on a public-private partnership arrangement for the new carrier. The minister explained the federal government was following Infrastructure Concession Regulation Commission guidelines to ensure due processes in the agreement. According to him, the government has appointed transaction advisors to work on modalities for the carrier. The Nigerian government has been urged to put in place structures that will enhance revenue generation from tax as it seeks to diversify the economy. Speakers at a roundtable book review titled Mainstreaming Good Governance into Nigerian Tax Reforms noted that income generated from tax will aid the growth of the Nigerian economy. The roundtable, which was organized by Good Governance Africa, discussed issues militating against taxation in Nigeria.
We identified a number of challenges, including challenges around multiple taxation, the sometimes lack of clarity as to what state agencies or institutions are responsible for collecting specific taxes. We also look at the problem of the informal sector, which for the most part has not been brought into the tax net. And we are aware that work is going on the different government level to bring the informal sector properly into the tax net. Some of the challenges we also identified in chapter 3 of the book relate to non-compliance. What drives this and what are the possible remedies that one can prefer to ensure that taxpayers are fully fulfilling the obligation to the state.
The major problem we've had to date is implementation. The major problem we've had is tax administration, effective tax administration. And most of the time you find out that the tax administrators would want to be effective, but they're hampered by the people who are their superiors.
How do we as a government and as a people then mine that data in a manner where the data is useful to LIRS, the same data is useful to Edo State government, is useful to the federal government, so it's bringing those things together, in terms of data. We talk a lot about the informal sector and presumptive tax. Can we have a legislation on presumptive tax in such a manner that the lady in Idumota knows that, I'm going to be paying a flat rate? It doesn't have to be the graduated system. We don't have to do a one cap fit all. But we can't do this if we don't get the laws right.
The forum also sought to find out ways the Nigerian government can effectively achieve revenue generation from existing and new taxation policies.
Changing our mentality, our attitude to tax, that can only be possible through continuous education. Now, for our leaders, I think one of the things that we need to do, I don't know how easy it's going to be really, is to try to entrench in our electoral process, tax obligation, declaration, and validation in that process. If I want to be the governor, for example, I should be able to declare what I've paid in taxes in the last 5 years.
People need to be persuaded to believe, number one, they have to pay taxation and why they have to pay taxes to start with. And as some of you have rightly observed, you also have to make them realize that as a process, the regulations are there and what they need to do. The sooner we realize that on this issue of taxation, if we spend more time on advocacy, on making people understand why they have to pay tax, on creating the systems that makes it easier for people to pay their taxes, look, they will pay.
The Nigerian economy is also one that's in transition. We all realize that we must prepare for that post-oil economy. And part of what you need there is to put in place the enabling infrastructure that will form the backbone of a more diversified and globally competitive economy. Unless you collect tax revenues adequately and you put them to good use, you will not be able to build that sort of post-oil economy that's diversified, that's robust, that's globally competitive and capable of providing that future job that the millions of young Nigerians emerging onto the job market will be needing in 10, 20, and 50 years from now.
Oil extended gains on Wednesday with U.S. crude hitting $58 a barrel for the first time since July 2015. Brent crude, the global benchmark, was up 40 cents at $62.97. All has been supported by an effort led by the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries to end the global supply overhang by restraining output. The deal to curb production expires in March, but is widely expected to be extended at the November 30 meeting. The Nigeria stock market managed to rise with a 0.02% after losing by 0.52% in the last traded session. The composite all-share index closed at 36,608.76 basis points as against 36,600 and 0.07 of yesterday. Also, the equity capitalization ended the day at 12.745 trillion naira, seeing an appreciation of over 5 billion. The consumer goods industry dominated the top gainers chart, with Nestle maintaining its position of yesterday by inching higher with 3.08%. Unilever Nigeria PLC also remained on that list, climbing up the chart with a 5.69% rise. Zenith Bank and Dangote Sugar were also there. Similarly, on the losers chart, Nigeria Breweries remained top, largely depreciating by 2.99%. More on the top losers table include GlaxoSmithKline, Flour Mill Nigeria PLC, and Julius Berger. The top traders table, as usual, had the financial service industry dominating, with Union Bank of Nigeria, Custodian and Allied PLC, Tantalizer, and United Bank of Africa. Market activities saw 331.241 million shares worth 5.562 billion naira in 3,231 deals. And that's it on business news. We'll take a short break now. When we return, we'll bring you more stories. Stay with us.
Not in my country.
What is wrong with kí ló máa ń ṣe iná? Tell them I drove for more than 1 hour.
Ìyá mi, ọ̀rọ̀ yín náà ni mò ń ṣe. Ọ̀rọ̀ yín náà ni mò ń ṣe. Ká kúrò fún Ọlọ́run. Ká satisfy yín níbi ọ̀rọ̀ yín náà ni mò ń ṣe.
Ẹ wo jẹ́ ká lọ jàre ká kúrò níbí báyìí.
Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ má bínú. Hello ọ̀gá. Màá dọ́dọ̀ yín lẹ́sẹ̀ yín. I am assure you 5 minutes. Màá dọ́dọ̀ yín. Ẹ gbà bẹ́ẹ̀.
You are deceiving another customer just like you deceived us.
The same way he deceived us.
Eh? Why?
Ètò ní iṣẹ́ yìí. Bó o bá kúrò ò lè jẹun, ò lè jẹun. Bó o bá kúrò ò lè jẹun ìyá mi. Bó o bá kúrò ò lè jẹun. Workshop mi leléyìí. Ibi tí èèyàn bá ti ń ṣe ló ti ń jẹ. Ìyẹn ló ń pè ní workshop. Ibi tó bá ti ń work ni kó má ti shop.
You cannot base your business on lies. Kódà now, it is corruption and it cannot work. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Glad to have you back. Former Bosnian Serb commander Ratko Mladic has been jailed for life for genocide and other atrocities in the 1990s Bosnian War. Known as the Butcher of Bosnia, Mladic led forces during the massacre of Bosnian Muslims in Srebrenica and the siege of Sarajevo. The UN tribunal in The Hague convicted him on 10 of the 11 charges. Mladic has denied all the charges, and his lawyer said he would appeal the verdict. Zimbabwe's former Vice President Emmerson Mnangagwa has arrived back in the country 2 days before he is due to be sworn in as president. Jacob Mudenda, the Speaker of Parliament, said the ruling ZANU-PF party has nominated Mnangagwa to fill the vacancy left by Mugabe on Tuesday, and he will be sworn in on Friday. Mnangagwa had fled Zimbabwe after he was dismissed by Mugabe days before the military seized control, shattering his authority. Moving on to sports now, former Nigerian international Yakubu Ayegbeni has announced his retirement from professional football. The 35-year-old, whose last club was Football League side Coventry City, announced his retirement on Wednesday. Yakubu scored 21 goals in 57 appearances for Nigeria and took part in 4 Africa Cup of Nations as well as the 2010 World Cup. He made over 400 professional appearances and scored over 170 career goals. Portuguese legend Cristiano Ronaldo on Tuesday broke yet another Champions League record. The 33-year-old became the first player to score 18 goals in a calendar year. He broke his previous record of 16 set in 2015. The Real Madrid striker also notched his 100th Champions League goal for the Spaniards in the 6-0 victory over Uphold. He also holds the record for the most goals in the Champions League with 113. Spanish side Sevilla has confirmed coach Eduardo Berizzo has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. The club in a statement said the coach will decide if he wants to continue in his role as manager. They, however, offered their full support to the 48-year-old, while adding further medical tests will determine the course of treatment. The Argentine was appointed manager of Sevilla on May 2017. Well, that's all on news now. Thanks for watching. I am Fidelia Aguncha.